Welcome to CinemaKC. I'm Erin McGrain, your host. Tonight, Uncommon Allies by John Brick. Famous Last Words by Brian Boy. Next, we visit another KC movie location with Teresa O'Leary. Drive-in movie Maniacs by Tim Sweeten. Someday by Turner Bieto. And The Rose Elf by Abby Horeen. Right here on CinemaKC.
I wish I can say that we can stop homicides, but if I can save a life, keep them out of jail, save our community, that's what I want to do.
Today has been a very violent day here in Kansas City, and we are trying to come to grips with this violence today. Oh, God. We need your help, Kansas City. If anyone knows anything that happened, any of these cases today, we urge you, we plead with you today to call us, 816-474-TIPS.
When are we going to say enough is enough? And we're going to put down these guns or the knives or whatever we're using, it's taking lives. Because I'm telling you, this destroys families in a worse way.
We're dealing with human life right now, and that is our most precious gift. And unfortunately today, a lot of people took that for granted.
Someone knows who killed my son, and I need answers. I need them. Who would take a 26-year-old life and just leave them in their own apartment and lock them in there like they're an animal? I knew I had to make a difference. I knew I had to do something different here. I had to be a mother to take a stand. I'm tired of it. We black people, and I'm saying it, we got to love on each other. It's not the police killing us. It is us doing it. Someone knows what happened to many of these homicides.
There's 80 dead black folks in the city, and I don't have a single protest, a single national media coverage for any one of them. I don't understand that.
All lives matter. We say black lives matter. Well, we got to love on each other, black people, because it's black people killing each other.
When gunfire, when homicide, when aggravated assaults occur every single week in your neighborhood, and when it becomes your new norm and you develop your mechanism to block it out and realize that this is not right, and it just becomes your way of life, that's a real social issue and moral dilemma for this community to fix.
It's not a police problem, it's our problem.
It's like a slow and gradual breakdown in the fabric of society. I don't know what the answer is. It's complex. I mean, there's racial issues, there's monetary issues. I could not even begin to tell you what the problem is or how to fix it.
Stop the violence! Stop the violence! Stop the violence! Brothers in charge! Brothers in charge! Brothers in charge! Brothers in what? Brothers in charge! Turn around and love on somebody. We're all family.
With Kansas City Mothers in Charge, I'm called to homicide scenes. I'm first responding with the homicide detectives. I'm there to bridge that gap with community and the police department.
When my son died, I just died along with him. I pretty much didn't know where to turn, who to talk to. And the day Rosalind walked through that door was a shine of light.
She's so strong, and she really exemplifies what a leader is. She's always there, even if she's been out 10, 12 hours.
She's been nothing but an asset to us, and I would do anything in the world to help her, anything in the world to help her, because I know she's real.
It makes a big difference when someone who has been through a similar circumstance is comforting a mother who's lost a child. That's not going to be the same coming from me. I don't have that experience. I don't know how to relate. This is a mother who has been there. That's the type of connectivity that we have to have in this city if we're going to end the violence.
Homicide Don't Discriminate have said that over and over, and it's getting closer and closer. When they call me, I'm coming. I'm going to stand. I'm going to hug that mother. I'm going to support that family. Everybody have something unique to bring. Everybody's not going to be a Rosalind Temple, but you be whoever you're supposed to be and help me fight this fight.
It's a film about losing a loved one. It's a film about having the last thing you said to your grandma or to your dad or to your best friend or to your husband or wife. It's a really personal story for every one of these people that are in this thing. They are pouring their guts out. There were a lot of tears shed while making this film. It was a hard film to make, and then you capture all these people and their stories on film, and then it's on you as a filmmaker to be honest and to share their stories without glitzing it up. Taking a bad thing and creating it into a beautiful, life-affirming thing is kind of the overall message of Famous Last Words. You know, you're always proud of your films, but this is a thing you're like, I think I've done something special with this one. It's something that you can really kind of hang your hat on. To say the things that we need to say while we still have a chance to say it. The disappearance of Bill Rundle was the biggest story in Nebraska all summer long. So this film really begins here, in a nondescript apartment complex parking lot in Lincoln, Nebraska. The last place I ever saw Bill Rundle alive. I've always felt very fortunate that the last words I said to Bill were "I love you," but not everybody has the same story to tell.
My famous last words would have to be to live with no regrets, because in my short time of being on the earth and experiencing my brother's passing when he was so young, I've just really tried to live with no regrets and make decisions that I want to make, what's best for me.
Really honestly, the thing that jumps out at me is that I'm not afraid to die. I used to be afraid to die, and now I'm not anymore. Like I said before, I think I'm a lot more loving towards the people who are important to me. And
Reese, the last thing I ever said to you was that I hated you, and that I really meant to say that I love you, and no matter what, I would miss you, and that even though you had done all the stuff that you did to me, I will still always love you, and I forgive you for all of it.
It could have gone many different ways. She could have hated me for surviving. Her son didn't, and I did. Watching people in Joplin, I think a lot of them have learned compassion.
My mom and dad were both educators. And the last thing they did was taught me how to live. One, to speak the truth no matter what. And the other, to make sure that I did it in a beautiful way and with wisdom and dignity and pride.
Death is nothing at all. I have only slipped away to the next room. I am I, and you are you, and whatever we were to each other, that we still are. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way, which you always used to. Put no difference in your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed at the little jokes that we enjoyed together. Play, smile, think of me, pray for me.
Hi, Hi, I'm Teresa O'Leary with Movie Trip. I love traveling the world and tracking down the real-life locations of my favorite movies. Today we're looking at Kansas City, the Paris of the Plains, barbecue capital of the world, and the city of fountains. Let's get started. Take a short drive west to Kansas City and you'll find Lawrence, Kansas, home to the University of Kansas and the Jayhawks. The term Jayhawk dates back to this area's extraordinary Civil War past when Kansas was on the verge of becoming a state. Its residents demanded that slavery be banned, which enraged the bushwhacker Missourians just across the river. It was a brutal, violent conflict that became known as Bleeding Kansas, and it's the subject of 1999's Ride with the Devil.
On August 21st, 1863, William Quantrill and his rebel guerrillas attacked Lawrence, setting fire to the city and almost reducing the town to ashes. Director Ang Lee, also known for Brokeback Mountain and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, filmed this harrowing Civil War epic with stars Tobey Maguire and Jeffrey Wright throughout western Missouri and eastern Kansas.
This hotel was devastated after Quantrill's raid, but it was actually the second time it had been reduced to rubble. The bushwhackers had burned it to the ground 7 years earlier. Of course, Kansas became a free state, and this hotel's still standing today.
Perhaps Lawrence's biggest claim to movie fame is the 1983 film The Day After. In the film, Lawrence becomes ground zero in a catastrophic nuclear attack. The city underwent a major cosmetic transformation. It was littered with broken glass, bricks, and rubble. To complete the effect, some extras were paid $75 to shave their heads.
But it wasn't all bad news. The Day After was made at the height of Cold War tensions, and it's still the highest rated made-for-TV movie in history. Lawrence has had its fair share of trouble, both real and not so real, but it always manages to pull through. Thanks for watching. I'm Teresa O'Leary.
When the enchanted forest plunges into the swamp, you hear the demon in chorus in a grisly chomp. You better stomp, stomp, stomp to the goblin stomp. You better run and jump now. Don't stay too low to the ground.
What is Drive-In Movie Maniacs? Well, Drive-In Movie Maniacs is the first locally made horror host show in 20-some years here in Kansas City. You know, Kansas City had a rich tradition of horror hosting for many, many years. Of course, Cremation Mortem had her creature feature. Hugh Bowen had Friday Fright Night. Of course, there was Uncle Ed, and back in my parents' day, there was, you know, Gregory Grave, and, you know, like I said, Kansas City has a rich tradition of that, and we couldn't figure out why anybody hadn't done it for 20 years, and so began my 5-year plan to bring horror hosting back to Kansas City, and finding characters like this guy and putting a crew together, and finding talent, and finding a station like the Johnson County Community College that would originally put us on in 2013 and lead us to where we are today. Would you have anything to add to that? Not really. Well, there you go.
Stomp, stomp to the goblin stomp.
We try to give you that traditional horror host feel where I introduce a movie, maybe tell you some facts about it, and tell you a couple silly jokes, and you go back to the movie, but then you see these cut-ins where you see maybe my real life and what me as Terrible Tim has to go through in his everyday turmoils and whatever I get myself into. So we bring that reality show flair to it. The whole show is made by us, out of our own pockets, out of our own love, and we all do our own little bits to make it all happen. And it's a lot of organizing, it's a lot of getting people together, and just having a real passion for not only horror hosting, but for the movies that we're showing. And you know, much like some of the movies that we're showing that were made on a budget, you know, our show is made on that same kind of a budget. You know, Ted V. Michaels, who recently passed away, we've shown a lot of his movies, and he was a huge influence on us because he made movies on his own terms, on a budget, and they were great movies for what they were, and that's exactly what we do.
The
Well, I think a lot of what we're doing here at Drive-In Movie Maniacs is preserving cinema in a lot of ways, and I try to pick the best of the public domain films, and we try to present them in a way that, you know, really gives them a new life to people. We've shown everything on the show, from Night of the Living Dead to The She-Beast, you know. I mean, we've had a lot of great movies on the show. Night of the Living Dead's one of my favorite horror movies. John Shipp and Jack Posinger, they used to do these great triple features down at the drive-in with the She-Beast and the Embalmer, and what was the other one? Undertaker and his pals. They used to do these great Corpse Grinders. That was another film. That was the big one that they did the big publicity thing they did, where they print out these little sheets that you would sign as you went in the drive-in, and basically certificate of assurance. Yeah, certificate of assurance that Jack would print out, and they would give you, not to sue the theater. I really like the idea of bringing the tradition of staying up late and watching an old scary movie back to television here in the Kansas City area. You know, we really try to bring that drive-in movie experience into your home without you having to actually go to the drive-in. You could stay at home in the safety of your own home, where it's nice and cozy and warm, and you can watch one of these old drive-in movies that we show. And, you know, we really try to make you feel like you're at the drive-in. You know, we're halfway through the movie, we throw in a little intermission film, and a lot of people tune in just to watch those little intermission clips, because it takes them back to a time that harkens back to that old drive-in experience. You know, my mother gets really nostalgic when she sees those things. We're having a lot of fun bringing horror hosting back to Kansas City.
Because the whole body of the film is shot in one take. I mean, it's the body of the film starts out in the parking lot, then goes to the basement of the hotel, to the kitchen, to the 5th floor, and then ends at the bar. The logistical challenges are immense with that kind of a thing. It's definitely the most stressful thing I've ever directed, for sure, but that just makes it all the more rewarding. I've been asked if we faked cuts, where we cut. It really is a true one shot. I mean, we rolled from the start to the end, and luckily we ended up with an actually usable take. So yeah, definitely my favorite thing I've ever done. So in this clip, you're going to see the first 5 minutes of the film, which includes the opening credits. It will cut out right before really the heart of the film occurs, like the conversation, the meeting with this hotel guest. And the clip will end in the elevator as he's going to deliver food and speak. So instead of cutting it up, we're giving you basically the little appetizer of the first 5 minutes of the film in its entirety and uncut.
Hey, Dad.
Hi. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm doing good. You?
Oh, I'm fine. It's been a couple of weeks, so I thought I'd just call and say hi.
Gotcha. Hi.
How's school?
Midterms are running my life right now, so that's about it.
Oh, I'm sure you'll do great.
Yeah, we'll see. What are you doing?
I'm just about to walk into work.
Cool. Look, I actually gotta get going. I've gotta study for this.
Oh, no. It's okay. I just called to say hey.
Thanks. I'll talk to you later. I love you.
Yeah. Good night.
What's up?
Matt, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. Been a pretty slow night. Mr. Harrell is in room 507. Said he'll be in the shower, but he's expecting the food.
Thank you. Your shift almost over?
Yeah, I get done in about 5 minutes.
All right.
In Rose Elf, it was based off of a Hans Christian Andersen story by the same title, and it's a longer story, but I've read it a few times and I wanted to find the key moment, and I really thought that the key moment in that story was when they had to leave each other, because everything else happens after that moment and because of that moment. So I really wanted to show that moment in its essence. In the original Hans Christian Andersen, the Rose Elf lives, but I decided to kill mine because I felt it was more of a metaphor and symbolism as to their relationship coming to an end, and foreshadowing for anyone who's read the story that the fate that befalls the man. So I was kind of just like, you know what, I think this is going to be my take on it with things that I find interesting, and just see how it turns out. I'm Abby Hareen, and you're going to watch Rose Elf.